What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Contest NBA podcast. We're finally back. As you guys know, this NBA regular season has been kind of boring, and by kind of boring, I mean probably the most boring regular season in NBA history. But
At least that I've watched.
yeah, it was the content was very minimal.
Oh yeah.
But we didn't want to just put out like bullshit podcasts and just going over weekly stuff over and over again. So, anyways, the playoffs are finally here. So today is May 21st, 2021, and the play-in is done. The playoffs are set, and we're going to give you our first round predictions today. So this is coming literally right after the Grizzlies just beat the Warriors to take the 8th seed, 117 to 112. John Morant had a phenomenal game. I think he had 35 points. Really disappointing for Steph Curry. Putting up 39 and just having Draymond and Andrew Wiggins just fold especially towards the end of that game. Their second best player that game was probably like Jordan Poole. And that's, it's kind of hard to win when Jordan Poole is your second best player throughout the game.
He had a come up. He was pretty bad. He was pretty bad early in the season. Like, I swear, dude was shooting like 30% in the G League or something.
No, he was really, really bad. But I thought it was cool to see Jordan Poole kind of like break out towards the end of the year. And during this play-in tournament, I thought he played really solid, especially tonight. It surprises me that the Grizzlies won, first off, just because I really didn't think Steph would let the Warriors. I mean, I guess he didn't let them lose this game, but I really thought he would just will his team to a victory against the Grizzlies. And what else was it? Yeah, man. I mean,
the Warriors really struggle with Valanciunas, though.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. But even then, Valanciunas was in foul trouble early.
Yeah,
like he only played
he
9.
Fouled out late in the fourth.
He fouled out late in the fourth. He only played 9 minutes in the first half. So the Grizzlies, like, they really had like a minutes restriction. Valanciunas and JJJ was also awful tonight.
Yeah, I don't know.
He
Seems
got
like
into
he's still
a lot
struggling.
of foul trouble, and I don't know. He's like 1 for 6 or something. But Xavier Tillman stepped up for the Grizzlies, and Desmond Bane both played really well tonight. Especially Xavier Tillman getting 11 boards, I think, and then hitting that late 3 in overtime.
And he even hit a 3 before that one. That was crucial. And I just have to note, Xavier Tillman, 35th pick, Desmond Bane, 30th pick.
Well, the Celtics had Desmond Bane and then gave his rights to the Grizzlies. So,
and the Clippers drafted Daniel Oturu over Xavier Tillman. And it's like, this is off topic, but like those little margin moves or like really helps a team in the end, having like at least a couple more rotation players. So,
especially the Celtics this year, man, could have helped so much.
And that's really like at the end of the day, like that's why the Grizzlies won. They had a couple more guys that were able to play. I mean, I know Wiseman was hurt, but even before the year, he was struggling.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Grizzlies are just a really well-coached team. Taylor Jenkins has done an amazing job with that team.
His first 2 years.
Yeah, even I think they were like 38 and 34 in the regular season. I mean, to get them to that point, even in like the play-in, and not only make the play-in, but also win both games to get into the playoffs. I mean, it's pretty incredible. Right. And they got a really solid young core. Dylan Brooks has improved a lot offensively.
Ja, we know Ja.
Yeah.
Slow-mo.
Yeah.
Dude, I love his game. He's literally, dude, like, it's not even a joke when they say slow-mo, I swear.
I don't think Kyle Anderson is bad at all. Like, he's such a fundamentally sound player, but I can't stand watching someone that slow.
It's impressive.
But I would definitely take him on the Celtics. But it's just so hard to watch him just play that slow, man. It's so bad.
And the defenders are just kind of there, like, watching.
I know,
Like, I
like
don't
he
even
doesn't
know.
even create that much space. Like he doesn't go anywhere, and he still like gets shots off. I don't know. Curry was on Kyle Anderson a lot tonight, which was kind of confusing. I don't know if they thought like
I
slow-mo's
mean,
lack of speed or like a like quickness would like
I guess because I mean Curry couldn't stay on jaw.
yeah,
Um,
no, definitely not.
so
Having someone like having
Wiggins,
yeah, like Wiggins and Juan Toscano Anderson on job made a lot more sense either way. Um I think having Curry on like Dylan Brooks makes more sense too.
yeah,
But yeah,
and
I mean the Grizzlies just were a better team tonight.
I don't know if you mentioned this already. It kind of cut out in the beginning of the pod, but Draymond Green, man, like the first shot to go into overtime, he missed, like whatever. But the fact in overtime when he was open for three, season on the line, and he just had like no desire to shoot it, just looking around for a cheap assist or something.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Like, man, he he put up like great numbers this year. He's a great defender. We know that, but his inability on off, like they're basically playing 4-on-5 on offense. It is
Yeah.
what it is. I mean, maybe it'll improve with Clay to add another shooter and give that space, but
Yeah, definitely
damn,
will.
man, he Draymond folded.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean the Grizzlies snag the 18 and they're gonna play the Jazz in the first round, which probably will get pretty ugly pretty fast. But we'll get into that. Just to run over the rest of the Eastern Conference side of the play-in. Celtics beat the Wizards 118 to
Tatum 50.
100. Tatum 50 bomb. I don't have his jersey with me right now. But yeah, so the Celtics will take on the Nets in the first round. We'll get into that. And then the Pacers absolutely dominated Charlotte. I mean, like literally from the jump, it was all Pacers all day. Sabonis dominated the boards with 21. Um,
No
and
Hayward for the Hornets. I think they're also missing someone else
um,
too. I can't remember, but Hayward, their main piece,
yeah, and I
was
don't
out.
think anyone's significant
No,
besides Hayward. But yeah, I mean, Charlotte just came out flat, no energy. Um, yeah, they were just taken advantage of from the start, and Pacers won that easily. And then Washington kind of came out and gave Indiana some of their own medicine and just like did the exact same thing that they did to Charlotte.
48 in the third, I think it was alone.
Yeah, I mean Westbrook had a great game. He's been playing great all year, especially the second half. And Beal was solid. So they will take on the Sixers in the first round, and we'll get into that. But where do you want to start? You want to start in the Western Conference?
Yeah, but before we go to the playoffs, I just want to say one thing: the play-in was a success, for sure.
Yes,
It
definitely.
added a lot of excitement to a pretty, like you said, injured, shitty, condensed regular season schedule.
Mhm.
So
I personally wasn't a huge fan of the way the plan was set up, but I think after the way that it's gone, I think you kind of like you keep it this way. You know,
yeah,
I say you give the 7 and 8 seed the best shots to make the playoffs. Um, just because they obviously played better in the regular season than the 9 and 10 seed. Therefore, makes more sense to give them a better shot than those teams. And then, yeah, I mean, making the 9 or 10 seed like win 2 games. I mean, the Grizzlies earned it. They clearly were just a better team than the Warriors.
yep.
Um, which is weird how that flipped because the Warriors just like dominated them like
In the
just a few
regular
days
season,
ago. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Hey, they almost came back and won, but too many mistakes down then.
yeah. Um, yeah, the turnovers were horrible for the Warriors tonight, especially
20.
I think, yeah, not even just the amount of turnovers they had. It was like the stupidity of the turnovers they had were just
Forced
like,
passes,
yeah, just
Draymond trying to do some bullshit.
Steph also had a ton of
Yeah,
turnovers tonight. Like I really like, even though Steph had 39, that was nowhere close to his best game that he's played this year.
yeah.
And I know that's a pretty high standard, but yeah, he had a lot of careless turnovers tonight.
That's why you got to watch the game, man. It's not a box score thing.
Yeah. But anyways, let's get right into it with the first Western Conference matchup with the play-in winning Grizzlies going up against the Utah Jazz. D-Mitch is not back for the first round, right?
I think he's gonna try and give it a go for game one.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
think that's what I saw. Even if he's not there, the series still probably goes. Yes, he's actually is expected to play in Sunday's opener.
Okay. Well, I mean, that didn't really change anything for me, but now it just makes it more so that I feel like the Jazz are just going to sweep them.
I'll lean towards more sweep also.
Yeah, I
I
would
mean,
say at best, nah, I
five
think
at
it's a
best. Like
sweep. Yeah.
at best five. It probably will go five because in the first round there's always like that one game that they'll either win game one or they'll go down like 3-0, win game four, and then get blown out in game five or something like that. But
Yeah. I think, I mean, first off, Utah is just a more talented team in general. Um, more experience. Um,
played
you
well
know,
all year.
yeah, I mean, getting D-Mitch back is going to be a help. We'll see how he is. I guess that could play a factor into maybe the first game or two of the series while he's kind of ramping back up. But I mean, Utah's phenomenal defense.
3-point shooting.
Yeah, I mean, they really got everything going for them. Um,
And then the one of the Grizzlies' best players, the second best player, Valanciunas, who's been a monster all year. Gobert will definitely contain him to some degree.
yeah, and um, while I mean, I kind of expect Donovan Mitchell to outplay John Morant, especially in John Morant's first playoff series. I feel like he's kind of just that guy that's just gonna struggle in his first playoff series because I don't know. There are a lot of stars who just their first playoff series just come out flat, and um, as well as the Grizzlies play it, I think really if the Grizzlies have any chance of winning, they really need to get going offensively. And
Right. John needs to be hitting his threes like he was tonight.
yeah,
And that's
definitely.
another reason the Grizzlies ended up winning. Like if Jaw's hitting threes, then that just opens up everything else for him and the Grizzlies.
Yeah. Dylan Brooks is gonna have to play phenomenal defense on Donovan Mitchell. I'm assuming that's the matchup they're gonna roll with. But yeah, I mean Rudy Gobert on Jonas is going to be a good matchup, honestly. But I think, yeah, like you said, for tonight, I think the only way the Grizzlies really get going in a game or win any games this series is if Jaw's hitting threes, and I don't know if I can really trust that. I don't know if
No, he
I
was
don't
bad
know.
all year from
I
three.
yeah, I just it's unfortunate, but the Jazz are just an overall better team, better coached. Actually,
They're both really well coached, but
yeah, yeah.
the Jazz better defense,
The
better shooting. They're
overall
just
overall just a much better team.
yeah. It
um,
is unfortunate we don't get Warriors Jazz because if I had to guess, I don't think Jazz Grizzlies would will get much of the ratings
no,
in
they'll
the
probably get
first
the
round.
lowest. They'll probably get the lowest ratings out of any series by a
Yeah.
large margin.
Yeah.
All right, getting into the second matchup in the West, we got the two Phoenix Suns and the seven,
Seed
believe it or
defending
not,
champs.
Los Angeles Lakers. As you guys know, they've been riddled with injury all year. LeBron's been out, AD's been out. So they fell to the seventh seed. And yeah, it's very unfortunate for Phoenix that they have to face the Lakers as soon as they get healthy. And also getting Dennis Schroeder back. I think he missed like the last couple of weeks of the season. Um, yeah, that sucks.
No,
Especially after
this confirms the basketball gods. They got something against Chris Paul.
yeah,
Something I don't know. Nothing goes right for my guy.
it's really unfortunate that just after a great season the Suns had, they really built off that 8-0 like bubble last last fall. Add CP3, you got to a 2 seed. I mean, they were like one game out of the first seed. So they were like a first seed caliber team. Second best record in the league. Chris Paul was great. Devin Booker was great. Um, I think Aiton kind of slacked this year. I really felt like he was going to take a bigger step up. But either way, Aiton was still really solid. You had a jump from Mikal Bridges. You had people
Addition, Jay
off the
Crowder,
yeah, you got Jay Crowder out off the bench. You had, I mean, role players like Trevon Carter were playing well this year.
Cam
Um,
Johnson.
yeah, just overall, just really, I would say exceeded expectations for me.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought that would be a top 4 seed, but top 2 seed. I
yeah,
didn't see that.
yeah, it sucks because
But
I
the
think
thing,
the
yeah,
Lakers are probably winning in like 5, maybe 6.
I'd say 6. I'd say 6 to give some respect to the Phoenix Suns, but not only does it suck that you're playing the defending champs, but the Lakers are probably the worst matchup for the Suns because they got DeAndre Ayton at the 5, and then after that, you got Frank Kaminsky. And
Yeah,
listen, Drummond, like he struggled. We watched Drummond. We throw the jokes on him. Like he hasn't been that impressive, but like if Frank Kaminsky's gone on him, yeah, he'll probably bully him. Anthony Davis is gonna bully DeAndre Ayton and Frank Kaminsky. Even Marcus Gasol, like I
it's
know
gonna be
Marcus Gasol's
criminal.
getting DNPs, but like he'll still get his against Frank Kaminsky at least. But like, and LeBron too, a big forwards,
I
and
mean,
the
there's literally
Lakers
no one to guard. I mean, I guess you throw Mikal Bridges on Braun and hope for the best.
not like you probably have to put Crowder on AD or something because I don't think Aiden could. Aiden's like too slow for AD.
Yeah.
I think, but like,
Oh
and that
god.
and Chris Paul's biggest weakness, like I watched him for 6 years. I love him, but being a 6 foot guard, there's only so much you could do. And the Lakers have the number one defense. And if they put AD at the 5, they're gonna switch everything, and it's gonna be very tough for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, I personally think Lakers in 5. Um, I just think I mean, like you just explained, the matchup is just awful for the Suns. Um, you basically have no one to guard LeBron. You basically have no one to guard AD.
Yeah, I think more so AD. Like Jay Crowder, he could at least try and be physical with LeBron,
Yeah.
but it's like it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just say
Um,
6 because and listen, in this series, if the Lakers actually are struggling and like they're not healthy and out of rhythm, like the Suns
we'll
might
see
win
it.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like if the Lakers are actually struggling, the Suns will probably win this. But if they
Or
beat the
even take them to
Suns,
7.
yeah, but if they beat the Suns, then to me, they might not be 100% in sync, but it gives a pretty good indication that the Lakers are fine.
Yeah. Assuming the Lakers are fine though, I would just say Lakers in 5. I mean, for the Suns, like if they really want to get going, I think Devin Booker needs to take a huge
Yep.
step up.
He's the key in this.
Not that he's been bad, but like he needs to really just he needs to kind of go crazy this series.
His first playoff series too, against the
Yeah.
number one defense in the league.
Aiden also needs to step up. I would say more so on the defensive end of the floor. I think he's been a great rebounder all year. Um, Maybe more so on offense. I haven't really paid attention much to his offense, but I mean, when I watch him play defense, he kind of seems like lackadaisical. I don't really know how else to explain it. It's kind of like a little bit lazy.
I mean, and this in the last regular season game, AD had like 42 against the Suns, and that was without LeBron.
Yeah, that's gonna be a goddamn mess. Um, yeah, Aiden really needs to step up. He's gonna have to get physical, play tough. I mean, even I don't like just find something to I don't know, talk some shit. Get the adrenaline going and get like the heart pumping. I don't freaking know.
Chris
You gotta
Paul's
get
gonna be talking shit, but
you gotta get physical if you're gonna go up against AD. So really, I think we know what Chris Paul is capable of. I don't doubt Chris Paul's abilities in the playoffs. I think he's gonna be just fine. But I think it's just more of a matter of Devin Booker and Ayton stepping up, and also their role players stepping up, because we know the Lakers are deep. Like they got a bunch of players who can come off the bench. Alex Caruso, um, Kuzma can come off and score sometimes. You got who else? I mean,
Those guys defend too. Caruso, Kuzma, they defend. Wes Matthews. I know like some people, or at least early in the season, Laker fans didn't like him much, but every time I watch him, it seems like he hits some big three in a
yeah, I
crucial
mean,
game.
um, yeah, it's
THT,
yeah,
he's
THC. I
okay.
was just trying to think of other players off the bench. I mean, maybe even
Trez,
I was gonna say maybe even
yeah,
Trez, because the
like
Suns are just lacking in big men so much.
exactly. This is like it. Trez, he's playable in certain series for a certain
Mhm.
amount of minutes, and this is the series that you could play him.
Yeah, like I don't think you would be able to play him against probably any other Western Conference team, but
No,
not even the Grizzlies. I don't think you could play Trez. Um, but yeah, man, um, it's gonna be a tough one for the Suns. I wouldn't be surprised if they squeaked out a couple games, but I really only maybe see them winning one game. And in reality, there's kind of no reason they should, like the Lakers should lose a game to them just because they match up so well. But
a game.
I really don't think so.
Yeah,
Like I want to
that's
put
what
respect on the Suns, but the matchup is just so bad for the Suns, man. And the Lakers are so much deeper. Eh,
LeBron hasn't lost in the first round ever.
there it is,
We'll
man.
see. Oh man, sorry, Chris Paul. That's unfortunate. But just quick on the main thing, Booker. Like if Booker is gonna have to like he's gonna have to be on like some 30 points per game shit. Seriously, for them to like even have a chance. Like
Yeah,
Booker
no, that's
cannot
what I'm
have an
saying.
off night.
No, and
So
he has to score 30 points per game efficiently. Like he's gotta be.
yeah,
I mean, in reality, I would try getting Devin Booker literally like 20 to 25 shots a game. But yeah, he's got to be efficient too with his scoring. It can't be like the scoring where he's like 12 for 25 with like 30
yeah,
points.
no,
But yeah, I think it's going to be a really rough go for the Suns, unfortunately, because I really enjoyed seeing the Suns this year. But
no.
yeah,
Sorry.
unfortunate.
Yeah,
All right. Into the next series, we got Denver and Portland. One big note going into the series. If you guys watch the NBA, you know Jamal Murray tore his ACL. So
yeah.
that's a huge blow to the Nuggets. Um, with that being said, though, I still think Denver has a really good chance of winning this series.
I would agree as well. And I think we can all agree Jokic is the MVP.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Certify 2021 MVP. It's weird because if Murray was playing, like I'd honestly probably pick Nuggets in 5,
Yeah,
but
I
I
would
th-
say maybe Nuggets in 6, I guess.
yeah, I think right now my pick would be Blazers in 6 because without Jamal Murray, it's gonna be tough to kind of counter Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum's scoring out out there, and they're gonna have Nurkic back too. I know the Blazers defense has been like horrendous all year,
Mhm.
but you would think at least with Nurkic he could help shore it up just a bit.
Yeah, Nurkic
Um,
is a big physical center that can match up with Jokic well.
yeah, and
Obviously, you can only contain Jokic so much. He's gonna hit those, I mean, like stupid ass 1-footers where he like throws the ball over his head. um,
I saw it all too much.
yeah. Um, it's gonna be a tough go for the Nuggets. I think. Um, I think like everyone knows what Jokic is capable of and what he's probably gonna do. I mean, he's proven to be a good playoff performer. Um, it's really just about other guys stepping up, and it can be,
And PJ,
literally Michael Porter Jr. is going to need to step up for sure, which he has. He's been great this year. Um, I'm a big Michael Porter Jr. fan, mostly because he was on my fantasy team, but um, he's been great this year. I think he was close to averaging like 20 and 8. Super efficient from the field.
I sleep well knowing the Clippers drafted Jerome Robinson over Michael Porter Jr. God.
ah, that's tough. Um, man, what else?
Aaron
Um,
Gordon, and
yeah, Aaron
dude,
Gordon has kind of just been like a
just a
such a
solid, just a solid like piece for them. Like he's not scoring much, but like I guess he's doing the things that he's like a worse version of Jeremiah Grant was for them.
yeah,
And
yeah,
dude, and honestly, like if Murray didn't get hurt, I might have had the Nuggets coming out the West. I'm not even lying. Like they were looking scary post that Aaron Gordon trade with Jamal Murray. And I think
mm,
that probably hurt Aaron Gordon's spot on the Nuggets a little bit because with Murray out now, there's probably more pressure on him to do some things. But
yeah.
Jokic
Um,
is going to get his against against Portland.
yeah, Jokic will obviously get his. It's really just about everyone else around him stepping up. I mean, dude, I can't even think of like,
Will Barton is injured, so he might not even be in the playoffs. So I
yeah,
think at the guard spot, I mean, like Campazzo, like bro, I get it. He's been cool and all. Like he's had some good games, but
he's not guarding Dame or
how
CJ.
how how much is a 5'9", and 5'9" is probably being like generous, a 5'9" point guard gonna do in the
Against
playoffs
Damian Lillard.
against, especially against Damian Lillard. And I know he's like a considered a good defender, but
No,
playoffs is different. Like I don't even, yeah, like they got Campazzo, Monte Morris, and Austin Rivers is kind of what they're dealing with at the guard rotation,
yeah. The guard matchup is just so lopsided
especially now. Yeah,
in favor of the Blazers. Um, and I think even with Michael Porter Jr., you still got good wing defenders. Norman Powell is solid, but you also have Rocco,
right.
who's proven to be a
Yeah,
great defender.
I forgot about
And
Powell's been great for the Blazers post trade.
yeah, I mean, the Blazers just got a lot more going for them. I think really just outside of like Jokic, the Blazers just are better and like at everything else. Um, in terms of like matchups and positions and depth. Um, yeah, I would say hmm, I think the I think Portland is gonna win in 7.
7. I was thinking about 7, but it if it goes to, these two teams played, I think it was a couple of years ago or 3 years ago,
They went
and
to
they
7.
they went to 7, and the Blazers won in Denver. But I think if it does go to 7, it's going to be very tough for Portland to pull it out because I don't know. Players always say it. The altitude thing is real in Denver.
Yeah.
That's what they say. So
If they really want to win, they're gonna have to end it in Portland. But I still think I'm giving it to Portland in 7. Um, we'll see how Dame does. Hopefully, he can step up more than he has in the playoffs. Um, not
I'll hold
that
my Dave slander. No,
I'm gonna give some Dame slander in a more positive light than Alex would. Um, I think he's been good in the playoffs, but not as good as he should be, and he's not held to as high of a standard. Um,
there's other superstars,
I don't
pretty
put as
much.
much of an emphasis on on it as Alex does. I still think he's been really solid in the playoffs, but anyways, Um, yeah, I think the Blazers just outmatched the Nuggets, but I don't know. I don't really have a lot of I don't know if respect is the right word. I don't really have a lot of faith in the Blazers to really do much. I feel like if they win this series, they're just gonna get swept next series.
By the Lakers. Yeah, probably like yeah. If they, like you said, man, if Murray was healthy, this is like easily a 5 gamer for me. But without
Yeah.
Murray, I think it's going to be pretty hard to kind of match Portland's scoring output because they
Hmm.
actually have one of the better offenses in the league. It's just their defense is god
Yeah,
awful.
but I mean, when you got when all you really have on offense is Jokic and MPJ, I feel like
Yeah,
at this point it just turns into a scoring contest, which like obviously like whoever scores more points wins, but like you know what I mean.
Yeah. Hey, if Dame's that guy, he should definitely close the series out.
I guess we'll have to see, man. Um, if group chat's gonna be a mess if Dame loses his series,
Oh yeah.
or even if he plays bad. But anyways, let's get into the last matchup in the Western Conference. Your LA Clippers hosting the Dallas Mavericks. Um,
Yes.
I think this will probably end in 5 games. I know I don't know why people look so deep into like the matchup last year, but
In Disney
I
tournament, yeah.
I don't think people realize that the Mavs didn't. I can't remember who like what like NBA analyst said it, but like the Mavs climbed back like into the series, but they lost game 5 by like 40 points.
No, it was yeah, I don't
I can't
know
remember who it
who
was.
it was on NBA TV. He was like, yeah, and
Mhm.
the Mavs slowly started building confidence back. And I can't believe Luca did it as if like the
Like
Mavs won the series.
no, they didn't. They also won on a horrible matchup with Doc throwing Reggie Jackson on Luca at the end of a game that the Clippers very clearly should have won. So to me, that was really like a 4-1 series, and I think it's going to be a 4-1 series again because I really don't think anyone outside of Luca is going to be competent enough to like win multiple games for the Mavericks.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is a Clipper killer, though. I want to say that that dude,
I
he's
guess, man.
nuts.
I mean, who else? I don't have. I really don't trust Chris Stapps. I think Chris Stapps is soft.
Mm, a little overrated for sure.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. The Clippers are way fucking better than the Mavericks.
And they should win in 5. Like if they win in 5, that'll at least tell me something about like they're a little more focused and in tune. And you went over it. It went to 6, but it wasn't that close. The Mavs like won easily in game 2, but the other games the Clippers handled them, and then they had a 20-point lead in that Luca game winner shot. And of course, not going to get into all the Doc Rivers rotational stuff that I had issues with, but
No
you're going
Doc Rivers slander for tonight.
no Doc Rivers slander for tonight. But I think going into this series, like if I told you like you're gonna replace Doc with Ty, Trez with Serge, and Lou with Rondo, the Clippers they should win in 5. They absolutely should have won in 5.
Yeah.
That they're just a better team on offense and defense. No more Trez on Boban minutes. None of that
Yeah.
garbage.
Much better
So
roster. Much better roster built around Kawhi and PG this year round.
I would
Um,
agree.
like you said, adding those pieces, adding a facilitator in Rondo. You still got Bev, Terrence Mann off the bench, Batum off the
Yeah.
bench. Um,
And you'd probably say Batum was better than Shamit was for them last year. Like a bigger, more they're just a more competent roster this year.
yeah. All right. So we both agree Clippers in 5. Now, speaking of Doc Rivers, on to the first Eastern Conference matchup. We got the 76ers versus the Wizards. Um, in my opinion, probably a Sixers sweep. Uh,
Whoa.
yeah.
We're 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 on different sides. I got
As
Sixers. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as a Celtics fan, I would love to see the Sixers lose. I don't care how many games. It would make me so happy. But um, nah, I think mm, I just the
I'm
Wizards
surprised you
just
said sweet, man. I got Sixers in 6. I think they'll drop 2 games.
you know I want to lean that way just because I have absolutely zero faith in Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. But I think overall, the 76ers roster is just way better, obviously. Like they're number 1 versus number 8 for a reason. Um,
And then the main thing where what they're better at is that center spot, and it's kind of significant. I don't even know who you're going to put on Embiid. Like you got Robin Lopez and Daniel Gafford, I think it is, who's played well for them actually post trade deadline, but Embiid
Nah.
might get his 30 and 15, but I just think Beal and Westbrook, I think they could pull out a couple games. I mean, I
I
don't
mean,
think
you
there's
also have Ben Simmons' defense thrown in there.
yeah, but I gotta be I don't think there's much of like on defense, I think there's a gap, but like if you just ask me like Ben Simmons or Westbrook,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know,
get
choose who
that.
you want. I don't know, but I think Beal definitely he's the second best player in the series, in my
Oh,
opinion.
definitely. Oh, that's not even a question. Um,
So
yeah, I could see why. I don't know. The Wizards just aren't. I mean, they've been hot, but like,
they yeah, I don't
I mean, they got blown out by the Celtics, man. And even as a Celtics fan, that's not a good sign going into the playoffs.
I don't know. It's just one of these things. Like the Sixers should probably win in 5 max, but I don't know. I just have a feeling that like Westbrook and Beal might have like 2 crazy games, or my old friend Doc might like do some funny stuff. I don't know, but
Shit, I hope so.
oh,
Um,
I hope so too. But I think yeah, I got Sixers and 6. I think the Wizards, like you said, they're kind of on a nice little groove right now.
yeah, I'm excited
Beal
to watch that series though. With the past rivalry between like Westbrook and Embiid, they've had beef before. I think watching Bradley Beal back in the playoffs. Um,
hoping he's healthy. I know he's had a hamstring issue and
yeah,
playing with it. So
yeah. So yeah, I just think like Embiid is just going to cause too much of a problem for the Wizards to handle it at all. So that's personally why I don't have the Wizards winning a single game. And I
tough.
also, as much as I've been a Westbrook supporter, I still like don't really trust him to play well in the playoffs. And Bradley Beal can't win a game against the Sixers alone. I mean, shit, unless he drops like 50 or 45. Um, yeah.
It is
Anyways,
an interesting 1-8 though. I think it would have been a lot more interesting than like Pacers,
oh, Pacers would have
Sixers
been Pacers, I think match up better though.
at the center position for sure with Sabonis and Miles Turner. But I think at least the Wizards Sixers is a more fun and kind of like intriguing
Yeah, there'll
series.
be, I don't know what the word is. I don't know. There'll be more trash talking, it'll be more I guess entertaining. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't think of another word. But anyways, let's get into the second matchup. So we got the 2 seed Brooklyn Nets going up against my Celtics. Um, I think this is probably like a gentleman's sweep. I don't know when the Celtics win that one game. Probably at home. Probably I could see like the Nets going up 3-0 and then the Celtics winning game 4 at home when they're at full capacity and then going back to Brooklyn and probably losing game 5. Um no JB.
That's we didn't get to mention that because we didn't do any podcasts, but that was
Yeah.
tough, man. Like if Jalen Brown was healthy, if they played
Torn.
anyone other than the Nets, like I think they could have made some noise.
Yeah, torn ligament in his thumb. Um had to get surgery. Or maybe it was wrist. I can't freaking remember. But he's out. Um yeah. Celtics really got the shit end of the stick this year. Unfortunately. Um, I'm ready for football. I'm kidding.
Nah, nah, hey man, I'm ready too.
Yeah, it's just I mean, there's no explaining to do. I feel like this is just the most straightforward series of the whole first round.
Yeah, I don't mean to be like I don't want to
No,
make you sad, but I kind of feel like it's a sweep.
I I wouldn't be fucking surprised, honestly.
Listen, Tatum might get that 50-point bomb and steal a game, but
Yeah, and
listen, man, at the yeah,
Kyrie's also still a little bitch and has like this weird shit against the Celtics. He's probably gonna
cooks him.
wave his sage around before the game in TD Garden.
It,
You
hey,
know,
and
takes
it,
everything personal.
I mean, and at the end of the day, it's Kyrie, it's KD, it's Harden. There's
Nah, I mean,
not much else to say. I mean,
yeah, I guess you throw JT on KD and just fucking hope for the best. You throw
You're about like you can't throw Kemba on Kyrie like hard at it.
I mean,
Marcus
here's the
Smart.
thing:
There you go.
you throw Marcus Smart on probably James Harden, I would imagine, and then hope for the best with Kemba and Kyrie. I know Kemba's limited. I still think Kemba's a solid defender for his stature. Um, Led the league in drawn charges. I think tied with Blake Griffin, who happens to be on the Nets. Um,
Fix his knees once he landed
I
in
think it
Brooklyn.
really just I think it really just comes down to that big three. I feel like the Celtics aren't really like outmatched besides that, if that makes sense. Like I mean, Nets have a better bench for sure.
Like
I
Blake's been playing well for them.
I mean, yeah, if you like the
Jeff
Celtics
Green.
are gonna have to like cut to like an 8-man rotation. I mean, you throw Peyton Pritchard and yeah, never mind.
It's
Yeah,
just a tough
it's
series. Like you said,
yeah.
Celtics they got hit with COVID. Injuries haven't been there.
Yeah, Kemba was late to start the season, and then
You probably
Tatum
wish
this
they could have
time.
made like Fournier's been solid, but maybe make a better or a more impactful move at the deadline. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
Evan Fournier's been
tough.
good recently, but also like the whole like Kemba, Smart, Brown, Tatum, Rob Will lineup has only played 8 games together.
I
I
did
mean,
see Rob Will might be ready for game one, but
yeah, it looks like it's up in the air right now because I saw the Celtics themselves said that it's up in the air, and then Sham said that he's good to go. So I don't know. Um, yeah, no much more explaining to do. Kind of sad. Um, Very disappointing for the Celtics because I really thought they could make a deep run in the playoffs this year and face. I really thought they'd face the Nets in like the Eastern Conference Finals, but they're facing them in the first round because that's just how this season has went for the Celtics.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean their acquisitions really didn't turn out to be as good. Jeff Teague was dog shit. I thought he could be good.
Oh
Tristan
man.
Thompson is very limited on the defensive end of the floor. Great rebounder. I like him off the bench. Rob Will can't really stay healthy. Gonna need to address that in the off season. Um, yeah,
Got some
man.
work to do.
Yeah. Anyways, next matchup, which I think this has the potential to be the most interesting matchup of the whole first round, whole NBA. We got a rematch between the Bucks and the Heat. Um,
I want to say before we get into that, I thought it was kind of weird what Giannis said. I don't know if you saw
mm-mm.
what he said. Giannis was like, they asked him about the rematch against the Heat, and he was like, I don't know if it'll be much different. And it's like, what? Why are you saying that? He's like, he didn't say it in like a we're gonna lose type of way, but he's like, I don't know, we'll see. It might not be different. I don't know.
I guess he's just playing it cool. I don't know.
Yeah, like I
Giannis
would
is
at
also
least
kind
like
of
to hear.
like a dork.
Yeah, that's true. He's like entering LeBron James
Yeah, just
dad
not as
phase.
he also, but without like the complaining.
Yeah, God.
Fuck LeBron. No, I'm kidding. Um,
His ankle's fine, guys. No excuses.
yeah, I don't ever want to hear that shit ever again, and I don't want to ever fucking see that he saw 3 rims. Shut the fuck up. You wouldn't have made it if you saw 3 rims.
Nah,
Stop creating narratives. All
that's
right,
cap.
enough LeBron hate. Um, I think this time around it's going to be a lot different. I really think, I want to say, actually, no. I think the Bucks are going to win this series. I think it's going to be much different this time around. Bucks will have home court advantage. Um, the Heat are for sure not for wanting them again. There's
They're
no,
not better than last year.
there's no Disney Invitational. They're worse than last year, and the Bucks are much better than last year. I mean, you just replace Eric Bledsoe with Drew Holiday, and
And also
your
for
team's a
Miami,
hundred
the
times better.
Oladipo trade was a wash. Did
Yeah, I mean,
nothing.
I know Kelly Olynyk has been great for the Rockets, and obviously he wouldn't have done that if he was still in the Heat. But I mean, you still
But they
lose
lost out a
out,
piece.
yeah, and for nothing. And
They also traded
obviously,
Avery Bradley in that trade too.
yeah. So you lose out on a couple pieces for literally nothing. Jay Crowder was gone. Derrick Jones is gone. Um, I mean, you really got Tyler Hero, who hasn't played up to expectations. Duncan Robinson, who hasn't played up. Goran Dragic has been bad this year. I mean,
He's
you really
he's
got
he's
like,
been dealt with some injuries going dry. It's been
yeah,
tough for him to stay on the court.
you got Jimmy Butler and Bam, and you gotta hope for the best. Um,
Yeah,
Maybe
and
Jimmy
it's
can get the guys to gather to rally around him, but I think with the Bucks, um,
I think it's a complete flip than last year. Just flip it. Like I want to say Bucks and 6, but like something tells me like it's gonna be Bucks and 5. I don't know.
I would
I just kind of have
say
that feeling.
Bucks in 6.
Yeah,
But I think
and
it's going to be a really close 6. You know what I mean? Like the game,
yeah,
like there's not going to be any blowouts. Um, I
and
think it's going to be a really entertaining series.
replacing Blood. You already said it, but replacing Bledsoe with Drew Holiday is
Just
a ridiculous
night
upgrade.
and day difference.
Ridiculous upgrade. I mean, we saw what Bledsoe was doing with the Pelicans, but
Ass.
I don't even know how he made like defensive teams with the Bucks. It's probably because they had like the best defense, and they're like, okay, we'll just vote Bledsoe in because of their record. But I don't
Yeah, Bledsoe's always a solid defender, but also with Drew Holiday, I mean, you get an even
better.
better defender, and you also get offense. So
Just
you know,
they got
um,
this. Still got man. Oh, I mean, PJ Tucker is like a nice addition to have in the playoffs as well.
their
They
team
picked him up.
overall is just better. Yeah, I mean, um,
I think they're a lot better than last year. Their record doesn't show it. They're like a worse defensive team, but sometimes you just like got to look away from the numbers. Like if you told me, I feel more comfortable about the Bucks this year than I did last year, for sure. And
mhm.
I was on the Miami Heat train. Like the Bucks don't want to see the Heat, but this season I feel completely different about it.
Yeah. I would have to agree. I think it's going to be an entertaining like 6 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Bucks are just better. I think Giannis is going to kind of come back with like a fire underneath him.
And
Um,
and he didn't play. I think he missed the last game in that series in the Disney tournament. So they're getting a healthy Giannis. They're
yeah.
they should win this series.
Yeah, it would be really disappointing if they didn't. The Giannis slander will be at an all-time high if they lose.
Shit. If they lose in the first round, at least the Bucks sign him to that 5-year extension, so they don't have to worry about any of the free agency stuff.
Yeah. All right. Last series of the first round. The New York Knicks are back in the playoffs for the first time in like 8 years, I think. um,
I
they
think the
will be
Hawks are
good.
back in for a while too. They've been out for a minute.
Yeah, since like 2016, maybe,
Yeah.
or I don't know, whenever Al Horford last played for them. Um, but yeah, I mean, 2 young up and coming teams. Um, you had basically like an MVP candidate in Julius Randle on the Knicks. You got Trey Young.
Both had two coaches that like help steer the ship in a positive direction with McMillan and Tibbs.
Yeah, and the Hawks are looking really rough to start the season. McMillan came in and totally changed the world for the Hawks. Um,
Yeah.
just a otherworldly difference between the Hawks pre McMillan and post. Much better, just way better, just way freaking better basketball team.
No,
Um,
they were struggling early. They had injuries too, but
yeah,
it, I think it was like since McMillan took over, they only lost 2 games at home the rest of the season. It was something.
yeah, and they started off like 7 or 8-0 when like he first came in.
Yeah, yeah.
Trey Young was great this year. Um, still probably gonna be
Capella,
Capella's phenomenal this year. Great rebounder, great interior defender. Um, I'm gonna as much as I would honestly love to see just for like basketball culture, I'd love to see the Knicks make like a deep playoff run, but I think they're losing in this series. You've been a big like not, I guess, obviously not like a Hawks fan, but you know what I mean. You've been
Yeah.
high on the Hawks this year. I would imagine Atlanta wins this series. Um, Pretty evenly coached teams. They both, both have great coaches. I just think it comes down to kind of depth and overall like roster talent on the Hawks. I mean, you got
I
probably
think we kind of forgot they had Lou Will. So
yeah, I mean, for
go
the
Hawks.
Hawks, you got a closing lineup of like Trey, Bogdanovich, who's been really good recently. John Collins, Capella, and then I don't know, you throw in DeAndre Hunter if he's
or
healthy. I don't
or
know if he is.
Gallinari.
Yeah, Gallinari. And for the Knicks, you got
Dude,
Julius Randle and then D Rose off the bench,
yeah,
and their
like
second option is RJ Barrett.
I like that's why like Monty Williams has done a great job with Phoenix, but this is why I say Tibbs is coach of the year. Because this guy has the Knicks as a fourth seed, playing Derrick Rose, Taj Gibson, like heavy minutes in 2021.
To give credit though, Derrick Rose has been really good with the Knicks,
Yeah, he's been.
and he's a six-man of the year candidate for a reason.
Yeah,
But
but it's like I don't know how the heck the Knicks are like the fourth seed. I guess it makes sense. Like their defense, Tibbs is like a defensive minded guy, but the reason I have the Hawks winning in 6 is because at the end of the day, I don't know how like in a playoff setting the Knicks are gonna get consistent buckets. Honestly, and Julius
yeah,
Randle has smashed the Hawks though. I think he's like I don't know what the number
he's
was.
averaging 30. I saw it the other day. He's averaging 37, 12, and 7 against the
Dude,
Hawks
I
this year.
wanted to say average 37, but that didn't sound right. But
No, it is.
they, yeah,
He
but
has completely obliterated the Hawks in 3 games this year, which I think he continues to do. It's just, like you said, you maybe get like 2 good games out of RJ Barrett.
his first playoff series as a rook, same with Trey Young. It,
Yeah.
there's a lot of it's like a evenly well matched up. I think you already said it. The two well coaches, both teams I think are kind of like they are on a faster path in their rebuild than they both anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
I think both improved greatly this year, and they're probably going to be even better next year. But yeah, it's an interesting series. This is one of my ones that I'm going to really keep an extra eye on because I like it's intriguing to me. I like both teams.
I wonder what it's like exceeding expectations.
I don't know much
Uh,
about that either. Don't worry.
anyways,
Uh,
here we are in 2021 where the Knicks are a 4 seed.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think a key for Atlanta this series is when so the big thing for New York is they do have home court advantage this series. And I think if the Hawks get down early, it's gonna be real hard to
yeah.
come back.
They gotta split game 1 and 2 in New York.
Yeah, with the Madison Square Garden crowd, even I think only at like 15,000 in the stands, um, still gonna be electric.
Yeah,
Um, you get down early, the crowd gets involved, you're fucked, in my opinion. I
that the
really
Hawks
just
can't. Yeah, no, they can't go down to 0-2.
they
If they go
can't.
down to 0-2, I think it's gonna be Trey Young's first series. They're gonna be a little flustered, even though they do have like some vets on that team with Capella and
I don't even
Gallo.
think it's about going down 0-2. I mean, obviously you don't want to go down 0-2 in any series, but I mean, just when you're in New York, you cannot get down early in games because once the crowd gets involved in New York, there's like no coming back from it. Like you are not gonna come back in a playoff game. I mean, you would have to like I just don't think the Hawks are talented enough to come down early and then get back in a playoff team.
I mean, I'd argue they're more talented than the Knicks. I think
Sure, I understand.
so.
Oh, dude, come on. My bad.
No, okay, but
Apple Watch went off.
I
I guess
like
that wasn't the right word. I don't know. I guess like not like enough like experience.
yeah. I think it's more of the word. And both teams, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Both are very young, up and coming teams. So
Yeah. I think that's going to be a great series. I would probably say Hawks in 6. I think maybe
Wave.
I think the Knicks definitely steal a couple games. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to 7. I mean, the Knicks play so well together, and
Mm.
it just, you know, we were talking about how RJ Barrett is kind of their second option, but I mean, he's been their second option all year, and they've played great.
Yeah,
So
it's I'm just interested to see what if Julius Randle doesn't have it going, like what are they going to come up with?
obviously,
Because
yeah,
because I really don't I don't really trust anyone. Like I probably trust Derrick Rose on offense more than RJ Barrett, but I don't know if
hmm
supposed to be a good thing in
yeah.
2021.
They also don't have Mitchell Robinson. He's done for the
It's
year.
true. I think Noel is their starter.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah,
John Collins and Capella will
Capella,
probably eat on the boards this series,
they
especially
have to.
Capella. Yeah. I think it's gonna be entertaining. I think the East is gonna be way more entertaining than the West overall. Um, maybe. I don't know. Actually, it's kind of even, but
Yeah.
I think the two most intriguing matchups in the first round are gonna be Knicks Hawks and Heat Bucks. Um, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So that wraps it up for this episode, basically. Um, we just decided that we're gonna do like each one round by round. So um when this series is over, or when this first round is over, we'll be right back here, go over the first round, um, talk about what's gonna go on the second, and then we'll keep doing that for each round until playoffs is over, and then yeah, that'll be it. I mean,
Keep it going.
NBA season's done in like a month or so. Maybe a month and a half. I don't freaking know.
Football season.
Yes. Hopefully we can get something started for that. I'm not gonna make any promises because our podcast schedule is wildly inconsistent. um, but we would love to get a football podcast started. Hopefully, I mean, like even before the season starts. But we'll keep you guys updated. Anyways,
Sir.
that's gonna do it for this episode of Contest It. I am your co-host Ethan Cope here once again with Alex Toma. And if there's anything you disagree with us on, go ahead and contest it. We'll see you guys next time. Make sure to follow us. I'll have all our socials in the description. Peace.
Peace.